and welcome back to Inkwoven Enchantment, a lovely, cozy place to talk about books, crafts, magic, and whatever else comes up. Today, I wanted to talk to you about some books that are young adult and middle grade that have stuck with me since I was those ages. So let's dive in. The first one is The Riddles of Epsilon by Christine Morton-Shaw. This book is such a wonderful little adventure. There are puzzles, there are riddles, there's so much complex mystery. Basically, a long time ago, there was a kid that lived on this island who faced this terrible darkness. And now a new main character, her name is Jess. It's been a long time since I've read this. But anyway, Jess moves back to the island, or moves to the island for the first time with her family. And she has to solve some of these old riddles, understand what was going on, and save her family from looming darkness. This is really fun. I love it. I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to read a little mystery with lots of riddles, lots of things to puzzle out as you're reading. Now, the cool and fun thing that I love about this book is that simultaneously I was playing a DS game with a similar plot with a main character whose name was Ashley. And, you know, just being able to kind of experience the same story, not the same story, but a similar story at the same time was super fun. So I will link both of these things in the description so you can check them out. The next book that has stuck with me, I actually just bought myself a copy, is Scott Westerfeld's Uglies. I quote this book all of the time now that self-driving cars are a real thing. This book is about a society of people that when their children turn a certain age, I think it's 18, they have to undergo surgery to become perfect. And this one girl, she's really conflicted, and then she ends up getting in a car wreck and she will no longer ever be perfect. She's ugly. And it goes on about all of the reasons why she was in the car wreck, the societies that she finds of people who are ugly, but really it's just the imperfect people. And I think that's truly lovely. There's so much in this book and in this whole series that are just really fantastic looks at what humanity is, what we prioritize, what we prize, and also just in general where we could be like theoretically going, especially in the age of self-driving cars. So check this out, maybe as a warning for the future. I'm not totally sure. I hope it's not a warning. But it was a really good book. I also really like a lot of Scott Westerfeld's writing, so this one is just definitely a high recommend for me. Another book that has stuck with me since high school, in this case, is the entire Sweep series. This one is by the Book of Shadows. It's by Cate Tiernan. The only way I've been able to find this book is actually by thrifting old library copies. So I'm not totally sure if this was published outside of for the library circuit, which I think is crazy. But basically, it's about a girl who she discovers that she can do magic and that magic is calling to her, and the whole series is all about that. And this was also my first introduction into Wicca. Now, I will say this, like now having studied Wicca a bit more, this isn't a great representation of Wicca, but it was the thing that got me thinking, hey, there might be a community of witches out there for me. And so me and my friend really enjoyed reading this whole series. I was so excited when I recently found it and was able to thrift most of it. Actually, all of it. I've thrifted the whole series now, and I'm just so excited to reread them soon and see if they hold up. But they definitely, like, I remember reading them with my friend and thinking, wow, magic is so cool. So this is awesome. All right, the next book. This is actually a set of a few books, but this is the only version of this particular book that I could find. But this is particularly the one that I loved is actually the first one, Heartlight by T.A. Barron. Now, again, this is out of print, which makes me really sad, and it took me years to figure out what this book was. This is one of those books that when I was in middle school, 8th grade, I borrowed Heartlight and from the library, and I read as much as I could, and then the end of the school year hit and I had to return it. But of course, little me back then who had ADHD and didn't know it, completely forgot to write down the author or the name of the book. Now, I was so excited when I went off. Oh, I'm sorry. I started this in 7th grade, and then in 8th grade, I transferred schools to a different school. But the cool thing about this transfer is that my librarian actually transferred with me. So he left the school that we were at when I was in 7th grade, 6th grade, whatever. Anyway, I started this in middle school. I had to return it because I was changing schools the next year. That's what matters. But the cool thing is that my librarian came with me to the new school. So at that new school, I remember asking this librarian, hey, do you know what book I checked out last? It was about this girl. And the thing is he recommended it to me. He walked me to the aisle it was in this middle school. Like, I could still walk you directly to where this book was shelved in his library. At the first middle school, but I couldn't remember the name of the book. And unfortunately, he couldn't either, and I was doing a terrible job describing it. So I held on to that memory so strongly because I really wanted to know what happened to Cate at the end of Heartlight. Did her and her grandfather survive? Like, what happened to the universe? What happened to the world? What was going on with the butterflies? There were so many things that I had questions about, and I just never could find it until a few years ago. I did a search. I was on my kick of remembering that this was such a key, important book to me. And I searched and searched and searched on the internet until finally I found it on an ebook. And I read through a few pages and instantly I was like, this is it. This is the book. I've finally found it. So back in the days when Twitter was still popular and still Twitter, I tweeted at my librarian letting him know that I finally found the book, and he was so excited for me. And that was so nice. So recently, in the whole Kindle is on fire and everything is changing, I decided that I was going to just get physical copies of anything that I'd previously purchased on Kindle to make sure that I could have them and keep them, because I do not want to support Amazon or Kindle anymore, even by reading the books I already own on that platform. So I thrifted this. I found it on some random site. I tried my best not to support thrift books, but this one might have come from thrift books, so I might have still supported Amazon. I know I'm the worst, but I was trying my best because I really needed this book in my life. And I was so excited to see that there's actually 2 sequels that are still about Cate as the main character. I don't think there are particularly sequels in the way that we now think about sequels. I think they're just like in the same world with the same main character. But regardless, I'm so excited to finally have this book, and it really stuck with me, and the ending actually ended up being really good. So I love this. Heartlight by T.A. Barron. It's out of print, but hopefully if you're interested, you can find it either in an ebook at your library, or you can do what I did and try your best to thrift a version. The last book in this set of books that have stuck with me for a very long time is Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a book about what happens after you die. I am fascinated by books that talk about death and talk about the afterlife in different ways. Some books make you go through things and figure things out. Some books make you relive your past. Some books make you live a new future. Some books make you go through the depths of hell and back. This one has you age backwards through your life and experience things with all of the knowledge that you have now. It was powerful, it was emotional, and it was so good. And I love the concept of taking what you know now and understanding your full life as it was. This is a beautiful text. It's funny, it's hilarious. Honestly, I just think it's so worth a read. And it has stuck with me for such a long time because that concept of the afterlife was so beautiful. So check out Elsewhere if you haven't already. Gabrielle Zevin has written other books since this. They're great, but this one is my favorite. And that's it. So what books have stuck with you since your childhood? These are definitely mine, but I would love to hear what you loved as a child.